Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
He didn't sign it. Harper didn't sign the petition to break up the country. And he got a prize today. Not a Nobel Peace Prize, but as Canadian prizes go, it's a pretty good one. We'll show you what it's all about as we dissect and analyze the face-to-face discussion, I guess. Not so much a debate, but a dialogue that took place today between Stephen Harper, former Prime Minister, Conservative, and Jean Chrétien, the little guy from Shawinigan, another former Prime Minister on the Liberal side. Both of them talking about the value of Canada, why it deserves to be saved in the face of this Alberta movement to destroy the country. And I would say there is a rising tide now of, I guess, anti-separatist sentiment. I've noticed it just within the last 2 days. And it's pronounced. And you know why? Because of David Eby, BC Premier, I think, saying the unspoken part out loud, calling the pro-Trump, American-influenced, American-funded separatists in Alberta treasonous. Yeah, he used the word again today. So don't go away. We have a lot to share with you today. And did you notice there was one guy who didn't have his name mentioned in tonight's headlines? I mean, the influence is there, but I didn't even say his name. I'll be right back.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
So this will make Donald Trump very, very jealous, I think, because Stephen Harper, former Prime Minister, Conservative, got a prize today. The Royal Canadian Geographical Society's gold medal.
So I'm going to read from the citation. The Royal Canadian Geographical Society awards its gold medal to the Right Honourable Stephen J. Harper in recognition of his distinguished career in public service, including his tenure as the 22nd Prime Minister of Canada. Mr. Harper emphasized the importance of Arctic sovereignty to Canada. His government oversaw the creation of Canada's first urban national park in the Rouge Valley, protected Sable Island as a national park reserve. He expanded Nahanni National Park and created a new national park in the Northwest Territories. He's also credited with strengthening the Canadian economy through prudent management during the global financial crisis in 2008, and his steady work and focus helped to expand Canada's trade networks globally. For his exemplary leadership, the RCGS is honored to award the Right Honourable Stephen J. Harper with its high...
Porn addiction turns high IQ men into silent under...
No, you can't do that. You're right in the middle of the big prize presentation. Here he goes. They ruined it. That's okay. We'll make it better.
Over here. There. I got to look at us looking straight ahead.
Everybody wants a picture.
Great.
Thank you. So, thank you, Lois, and thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Harper. You can take the seat in the center. Je vous invite maintenant à accueillir avec moi sur scène le très honorable Jean Chrétien, 20e.
All right, so there he got his prize, and so he can put that up on his bookshelf or whatever. So that's pretty cool. And then Jean Chrétien comes in, and he joins Stephen Harper for a moderated discussion focused very much on whether Canada is a country worth saving. I won't spoiler alert, they say it is. So we're gonna dissect that. But before we do that, something else amazing happened today. I mean, truly amazing when you think about it. Are you thinking about it? The GST tax break thing? Yeah, unanimous support to fast track Mark Carney's GST relief bill. Oh, yes, it's true. Carney last week promised to cut the GST burden on Canadians by coming up with this plan to offer rebates, right? What is it? I think it's Bill C-19. That bothers me. C-19. Anyway, we'll pretend that it's something else because I don't want to say C-19 anymore. Anyway, it's called the Canadian Groceries and Essentials Benefits Act. And they're going to fast track this sucker so fast it'll come into effect as early as this Wednesday. Yes, baby. Yeah, that's pedal to the metal all the way, and every party supporting it. So starting in July, the quarterly GST payments will see an increase of 25% over the next 5 years, and will also include a one-time top-up of 50% this year. So depending on what your income bracket is, some families could see $500, some like $1,800 more in their pockets at the end of the year. Yeah, up to almost $1,900 in eventually to families. That would be, I think, a family of four. It just depends on where you're at. A single person could get up to like $950 back this year compared to $540 that they were getting, and about $700 a year for the next 4 years. So, that's not chump change. Well, it is in the overall scheme of things, but I mean, when you're living on poverty lane like me, that's a big deal. So I'm all for that. Anything that cuts taxes right now, I'm very excited about on a personal, very selfish level, because I need that tax break. I don't know about you. I'm just telling you, Carney is a conservative in liberals' clothing in many respects, at least fiscally. And that's why this thing is getting fast-tracked. I keep telling you, but so many people just have this knee-jerk reaction, and it's like F Carney, because, you have to have somebody to put F something on your flag, I guess. Anyway, that's what's happening. I've got the news conference from today with regard to this, featuring Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne, who spoke to reporters about this. It doesn't go on too long, so we'll run a little bit of this. And here are the highlights from the Q&A.
Just finished second reading of the bill, which is the Canada Groceries and Essentials benefit, a very important measure for Canadians. Canadians, families, know across the country that food inflation is a complex issue. But that being said, they expect us to take measures to help them. What we have announced is a boost for this fiscal year, but also a bridge towards our Vision 2030. People that I've talked to understand that we have a vision to grow the economy, but it's going to take a bit of time before they feel it in their wallet and on the shop floor and in the farm. So what we have been providing is immediate measure. We had seen that if you look at excess food inflation since COVID-19 was around $782. So that's the boost that we're giving this year. So you can compensate for the loss or the excess food price that you had, and at the same time increasing the benefit by 25% on a going forward basis before we see the result of the investment. So I certainly hope that my colleagues understand Canadian families send us here to do one thing, is to support them in time of needs. This is in line with Canadian values. This is going to make a difference in the lives of Canadians, and it's part of a suite of measures to make life more affordable in the country.
Ce matin, la députée conservatrice Melissa Landsman disait qu'elle était prête à envoyer ça dans le comité dès demain et de faire sortir.
Yeah, let me just get back to English here one moment.
To pass it through all stages by the end of the day Wednesday.
Hey, listen, I'd like to believe it, but maybe I've been here too long to know that folks say things, but what matters to Canadians is the action they're going to take. On my side, I can tell you, in caucus, no, I'm willing, and I'm saying that on live television.
It's true, dude. It did happen.
I'm willing to appear at committee this afternoon if they so want, to make sure that we would progress that and meet the immediate timeline.
It's true.
I have yet to hear. I know that there are discussions being held to make sure that this will happen. Listen, there were comments in the House. You probably followed the intervention that I made, as you normally do. And you would have seen the questions that I received. Some of them leave me a bit perplexed in terms of their commitment. But again, if they're good to their words, we're going to be working on our end. Like I said, I make myself available today, even if it's needed, to move that forward.
On the GST, the eligibility, the household income eligibility to receive the GST credit in the North, particularly in Nunavut, is said to be just above the poverty wage in Nunavut. And so why isn't the government providing special considerations for people in the North to benefit from the rebate proportionally equal to those Canadians in the South?
It's a very good question. What I would say to you, because this is part of a suite of measures we're considering. This is not everything that you've seen today. There's other things we're looking at. We're very aware, the Prime Minister and I, of the reality in the North and in remote communities.
All right, well enough. Bottom line is, it's fast-tracked. They all voted in favor of it. That actually blows my mind, that they all got together on something and all voted in favor of a tax rebate. So I'm like, right on. I'm cool with that, man. That could easily have been a Stephen Harper government type of tax relief. So we'll celebrate that one too. So he's cut. This is the thing. He has cut the carbon tax so that the price of gas is lower. What else has he done? He's got that MOU going on. He made the deal with China to bring in 49,000 to get the relief for the farmers out west that they desperately needed. So he basically saved the canola farmers. He is now not only providing GST, goods and services tax, or harmonized sales tax, depending on where you live, HST, relief to Canadians. He's done it in some magical way where he got everybody to vote in favor of it. But I still keep seeing people just react in a knee-jerk fashion. And it's like, F Carney, no, I'm not going to, no, I'm not saying that. I'm with all the other, I'm like, yeah, okay, do it. Just do it. I don't care what side of the political aisle you're on. Just give us the tax break. That's what we need. And so I'm happy with that. We can get upset with him next week when he does something stupid. It's coming. He'll do something stupid. They all do eventually. Just be patient. You'll be able to complain about something legitimate soon. Stay with me. I'll be right back.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
Brightleaf Innovations is excited to offer our newest investment opportunity, the Turn Easy Bed Storage Solution.
Turns with a touch, spins all the way around. Every little thing you need is easy to be found. No more clutter, no more mess on the floor. Just spin it, reach it, you don't search anymore. Turn Easy Bed, spin your world around. Storage made simple, the best you found. Shelves your way, keep the mess away. Charge it, store it, night or day. Custom shelves for your books or your tech. Cozy space for your treasures to protect. Built-in power when you need to recharge. Smart design that makes your bedroom feel large. Turn Easy Bed, spin your world around. Storage made simple, the best you found. Shelves your way, keep the mess away. Charge it, store it, night or day. Designed and developed by Brightleaf Innovations. Proudly Canadian and patent pending in North America. Turn Easy Bed transforms how you live.
To learn more about this innovative new product idea and exciting investment opportunity, call 519-784-0222 or visit brightleafinnovations.com.
Yeah, and I'm just looking in the chat, and 1272B51. You must be a separatist, or a Canada 51st stater, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, whoever you are, yeah, he does raise an important point, and I think I am misspeaking when I say that it's the tariff reduction with China is focused on seeds, not oil. That's true, because oil trade in canola oil from Canada to China had already dropped to almost nothing. So it's basically irrelevant. And the deal does focus on canola seeds and meal. And that is also because they produce a lot of canola oil in China. So they can take the seeds and then they make canola oil in China from the canola seeds and other products. So anyway, thank you for that, to clarify. And like I said, the GST, HST rebate, that could have been Harper. And today in Canada, after Harper got his gold medal, former Prime Minister Jean Chrétien came in for a discussion on separatism and whether Canada is a country worth saving. And I was just going to run clips, but you know what? I watched quite a bit of this. I have not had an opportunity to watch all of it, and it isn't really that long, but I think it was actually an important event today for Canada as the country faces this existential threat from the United States. Everybody's worried about, complaining, especially out west, foreign interference, China, and the biggest threat there is to Canada right now is the United States. Well, more specifically, I would say Donald Trump, not so much the United States of America, but Trump and the people around him. What these two guys did today, the way they just sat there and spoke about the past, the present, and the future of Canada, I just think it. I think it set an example for the rest of the country. These are two political rivals who really, at the end of the day or the end of their careers, although Harper's still active, they sit down and they have civil discourse and agree on more than they disagree on. And they're patriotic.
Failed to adequately defend its national interest in the Arctic. So why was the Arctic important?
This is right near the beginning.
If you could just elaborate on your interest.
First, I was a minister responsible
for the Arctic
for more than 6 years. Minister of Indian and Northern Affairs for more than 6 years. And I developed a great liking to go to the north. And I enjoyed very, very much. I went in all the places. And I knew about the history of the north because that land was not clearly in the hand of Canadians. And it is under the time of Louis Saint Laurent that Gordon Robertson, who was a deputy minister of my department, started to move some Eskimo from northern Quebec to Grise Fjord to clearly establish the presence of the Canadian on the Ellesmere Island.
See, this is going back to a time when Chrétien was the minister responsible for the Arctic, and this is all very relevant today because Donald Trump is threatening Greenland, to take over Greenland, which is, an extension of Denmark. And this goes back to a time when Canada was facing, some pressure and potential threat to our sovereignty in the Arctic. So this is actually a topic that we keep revisiting as a nation state. It's very relevant what these guys are talking about here right now.
And it is quite recent that it was challenged at that time by the Danish. And the move made by Mr. Saint Laurent led me to visit Grise Fjord. And I was the first minister to go there ever. And this week I received in my office the grandson of the mayor when I visited that in 1970, who had been the premier of Nunavut. So my connection with the North go far, and I'm happy that it's clearly Canadian. And now some people look at Canada and would like to take it over from us. But we stand on guard, don't worry.
Look, I just always had unlike Mr. Chrétien, I wasn't minister of everything at one point in time. But I had a long abiding interest in our history and geography, and especially our northern history. And I'm always fascinated that the French and British actually fought naval battles in Hudson Bay. Like, it's unbelievable. Such a great part of Canada. So look, but my concerns were different. I think the reality is, in law, Canada took possession of those territories in 1870 and then 1880. But the reality is Canadian sovereign presence is extremely spotty, especially up until the 1950s. And even after that, we've kind of had periods of neglect. So, I believe.
Oh, I hate it when it does that. Here we go.
Serious, I think I've been borne out in that regard. I didn't anticipate them being our southern neighbor.
Serious threats, and he didn't expect to come today from the States.
We have to be able, my view, especially now, we have to be able to do surveillance and reach and ultimately defend all of our land, seas, and skies without the support of allies. And I think we're entering an era where with new technology, that's actually quite feasible for us to do. So it's turned out to be more timely than I thought.
Absolutely. I don't doubt for a minute that most Canadians have a deep loyalty to their country. You see outbursts of patriotism every now and then. Recently with the Four Nations Cup last year, just an enormous
That was
outpour.
the best, Connor McDavid, that was the best moment of 2025.
Absolutely. Connor, hopefully we have
If only a prime minister could do something like that.
hopefully we'll have another Connor McDavid best moment in the next couple of weeks as Canada, of course, competes, Team Canada in the Olympics. But outside of sports, how do we reinvigorate a sense of Canadian patriotism, especially following years in which we were told that Canada is a country without a core identity, without a mainstream? How do we get Canadians excited about the country?
Well, let me just tackle that one quickly. Look, we are living in an age. The one thing, I travel around the world on business now, still do a bit of politics. The one thing about this world, whether we like it or not, we are living in an age of nationalism everywhere. Revived nationalism. And there is no reason why this country should not be as nationalistic as anyone else. We have a lot to be proud of. It's a tremendous country. I think just about any person and almost anywhere in the world would love to be here, to have the circumstances of our country. Well, we have a great history. Obviously, we have a great land, a tremendous, gift of Providence. Great land, but we have a great history. And, there's been so much emphasis in the past, let's say decade, about all the things we've done wrong. Okay, fine. But look, all the things we've done wrong have been things that like the things we've done right, that we have built upon. We've corrected mistakes, and we've built, I think, quote Mr. Chrétien, the best country in the world. So, let's be proud. And our pride doesn't have to be just, not liking Donald Trump. We should be proud in who we are as a people and as a nation.
These are important words. This is actually an important moment, an important milestone. It's because the country is at a turning point, if you will. And to see these two guys sitting on the stage weighing in on these issues together, I think a lot of people are going to be paying attention to this.
Around the world, they look at us. There was an international survey a few months ago asking the people, if you had to start your life, where would you like to go? And around the globe, Canada came first. And, it is the others who see us this way. One of the problems is we look back all the time, rather than look at the future that we can build together. Over the weekend, I wrote a book about this American who wanted to take Canada over in 1780, 76, at the time of the Revolution.
Right.
The guy went...
Benedict Arnold.
No, he came.
Yeah.
But at that time, they wanted to take us over. And you know what was Canada at that time? There was no Anglophone. We were a colony of England. And the Americans were afraid that they were going to use Canadians to fight them in alliance with the natives who tended to be with the Brits at that time. So if we, the Francophone, had decided to join the American Revolution, all you guys would have been obliged to go back to England because the loyalists could come to Canada. There was no Canada at that time, but the French Canadian that controlled the land. So if we were to look at what we've built together rather than what divides us, it is a problem. And be proud of what we can offer. When you're in the geographic business apparently, so I claim that when I was Minister of Indian and Northern Affairs, responsible for park, and when I was Prime Minister, I made more land aside for conservation and national park than the number of acres they have in France. And we did a bit of that too. We're the only country who can talk like that. And we have to be proud, we're political opponents, but we're not enemies, not today, anyway. And because he's afraid of the Shawnian. And, we can have, no, but...
See, that's what I keep saying. Liberals aren't my enemies, they're my neighbors, And I hope they view me the same. We don't need to be enemies. We can be political opponents, but no, that's not the Canadian way. This is an important moment.
We have lived something that is an example to the world. To have two official languages that, we have treated the native better than the Americans. Not as well as we should have, but much better. We never sent the army to kill them. And we sent some missionaries who wanted to take them to heaven, and it was a controversy, apparently. But, and the French were here, and the Anglophone came, and we have now 50% of the population came from all the nations of the world. And they will never change, their citizenship for anything else. And it's why everybody will give everything they have to have the privilege to come and share our so-called miseries.
Jean talked about the defense of Canada by French Canadians during the American Revolution. Our organization, Government of Canada, RCGS, we spent a lot of time celebrating the fact that all these different groups of Canadians, French, English, Native, came together to fight in the War of 1812, which is a great moment in history. So we've created this country, created it through joint action, through joint defense, through joint economic building. But I would say that if I can, I gotta get a dig in here. I just say that the American Revolution, the War of 1812 are probably better examples of Canadian unity than the Plains of Abraham. So we'll
just mention that. You may have a point. Well, and the incredible role, of course, that Indigenous...
but we cannot rewrite history. I was not there to wake up Morecambe when Wolfe came in the middle of the night. And the Brits tend to arrive in the middle of the night. They did that in the Falkland about 50 years ago. You remember? Yeah. So be aware, be awake.
Perfidious Albion.
But you're right, and the Indigenous contribution to the War of 1812, which I think Canada would have been lost without the warriors who intervened.
We burned the White House, but we will not repeat it.
It's part of it's been torn down by the current incumbent.
You don't need to burn it down. He tore it down himself.
Well, riffing off that, Mr. Harper, the last time you were on our stage, you said that Canadian sovereignty must be preserved at any cost, and that the country must be prepared to make any sacrifice necessary to ensure we remain an independent country. I'm wondering if that analysis still stands. And
absolutely. I guess, John has obviously his history as a Canadien Français. My ancestors came to this country in 1774, 1 year before the American Revolution. My great-great-great-great-grandfather led militia efforts in New Brunswick during both the Revolutionary War and the War of 1812 to fight for the crown. So it goes, for someone like me, it goes back a long way. I think the countries, I love the United States, but I'm not an American. I think our country's different, worth preserving. I don't want to suggest that, we should go around kind of accepting unacceptable costs, but the fact of the matter is that the country's worth preserving, that I think there are costs that are going to have to be paid under the current circumstances to do that, but there's also enormous opportunities. It's not all cost. There's a lot we can do that we haven't done to make ourselves more competitive, more wealthy, more connected to the world, and this is an opportunity for us to take advantage of these circumstances. So let's do some nation building.
Mr. Critchin?
I'm not discouraged at all. I think that we're living a very important time in the world. It's a big shift. It is probably what I would call the beginning of the end of the American empire. And it has to come. All the empires change. So now, it's accelerating. But we are in a very good position because we have the land, we have, the best educated people in the world. Do you know that?
He makes a very important point. This is happening because America is in decline and Donald Trump is pulling back, and he is isolating the United States.
And we have the tolerance that is a great value. We are the sharing that does not exist in many other countries. We have less very, very rich people per capita, but less very, very poor people too in Canada. And we have the unity that we have to fight all the time about that. It's there and it will always be there. But we have managed quite well to survive, and at this moment, our friend from the South has created a mood that a Canadian have never been so proud to be Canadian. In my province of Quebec, it's still the same thing today. The desire to have a referendum is very low in Quebec. Don't know what the hell is going on in Alberta. But I have to go there. I have 500 cousins in Alberta.
I didn't sign the petition. So.
Any Tories did?
I'm told not.
I want an answer.
I'm told not.
Anyway, we're having fun. Canada will remain united, don't worry.
Well, I guess just on that point, you each have...
So he says he did, Terper says he didn't sign it.
Prime Minister with the stresses of...
Can I just say something about that? No, not on Alberta. I just want to tell you something about Quebec. It'd be interesting to see how the election unfolds there, but I recently ran into, it was actually the airport here in Ottawa. I won't name the name, but I ran into somebody who is a very, very prominent long-term separatist. And he was saying to me, we were chatting, what do you think? This is several months ago, Harper, about what Prime Minister, what President Trump's doing. And we chatted for a moment, and I ended by saying, I say, this is the reason why we have to stick together. And he lowered his voice and said to me, I think you're right.
Whoa. So interesting. Well, and yet,
you're right.
At this very moment,
we are right.
This very moment, we're at the moment we need to be strong and united. We are once again facing forces that would seek to pull us apart. And I guess based on your experiences, Mr. Chrétien, with Quebec sovereignty and Mr. Harper with Western alienation, how do you think Canada can strengthen national unity? What can we do at this moment? Those of us who love the country, deeply invested in the future of the United Canada, what can we do to address that sentiment in those places?
The problem is we don't know enough the history of Canada. I'm amazed by the ignorance of the people. When I refer to the fact that at the time of the American Revolution, we decided to stay in Canada. Why? It's because the king of the day guaranteed to the French the language and the Catholic religion. And the Pilgrim of Boston were mad at the British because he had made a deal like that. And they wanted to take over Canada. And I was reading a book this weekend, written by Madame Dohan. She's a journalist from Ottawa. It's called He Failed to Conquer. It's a great book about that period of time. And, we don't know that. That it is because of that we still speak French. And they say that we're miserable. My colleague said that. I said, it's terrible. We were 60,000 French Canadian in 1763, when by the Treaty of Paris we were ceded to the Brits. Miserable that we are, we went from 60,000 to 9 million. It's not that bad. And it's more people than in Belgium, in Switzerland, in Finland, in Sweden, in Norway, and in Norway.
Yeah, Canada is the second largest native francophone country in the world.
And Montréal, la deuxième plus grande ville française dans le monde entier.
C'est vrai, c'est vrai. So,
et Shawinigan, une ville unilingue d'où je viens.
Never been to Shawinigan. It's one of the few.
Shocking confession.
You're missing something. We have a beautiful museum there. That's right.
The Chrétien Museum.
Called Canada in the World. And that they talk about my career. Anyway, no, they put my gifts are all displayed there. And there is a great section called Madame Aline. And about locally, and it's all Canadian.
Well, I think my people might have said and whispered to me that I probably didn't have a chance of winning in Shawinigan. Anyway, I was going to say, I don't want to get too much into the politics. I'll just say this, that, you know, in our time in office, myself and colleagues here, you know, Quebec, the support for Quebec sovereignty went to its lowest level since the early 1960s. And support for Western separatism vanished completely. So, you know, look, there are people obviously in both parts of the country who think differently, but I think the reality is federal government manages this country right, puts the stress on unity and not on ideological tangents, and there's no reason why we can't pull the country together at this moment.
So the two of you clearly like and respect one another. I know you've got a bit of a roadshow you've embarked upon from time to time, and despite the fact that you represent very different social and political movements, what advice do you have for the current generation of political figures to enable them to disagree with one another without stoking polarization in the country?
You know, the communication of today have changed. And the gossips of the taverns, you read them every morning on this little machine. And all that is terribly negative, terribly negative. And I don't know how we will counter that. Because you have an article, and only the people who are negative. Very rarely you can read something under an article that refers to what is positive in the article. It's always what can be negative. And so that means that all the young people have that in their hands all the time, and looking at that stuff, a lot of time it was pure invention, lies, and nobody correct them. And that will have to be corrected, I don't know. But I lived the same situation in a way. When I was elected, Parliament, we had no TV, no radio, no nothing. It was a debating society. And there was a lot more, you know, now it's on TV. So it's dull because, you know, they read a text prepared by somebody else. The House of Commons in my time, you had not the time to have notes, the right to have notes. If you could not speak up your mind, you could not talk. And if you lie, my God, Trump will be in trouble. If you lied in the House of Commons and you could not prove, you know, and if somebody accused you of lying, if he cannot prove it, he was expelled of the House of Commons. And now these things, these values of what is the truth seem to be have disappeared. They all look with what attract attention, what is attractive for the media and the communication of today. And we'll have to overcome that. But we have overcome the arrival of radio, TV, the television in the house and all that. So eventually we'll find a solution. Probably I will not be there to find it.
Yeah, look, I do think this is
truly that the center of all of our trouble is the constant lying and the propaganda and the political spin, the half-truths, the misdirection, it's just intentional malicious speech that is out there every single day, all over the place now, and it's because of the internet and AI, and he is really highlighting that. And that is true, is that the truth is lies are a big problem right now. And I don't know how we combat it either, because you spend so much time running around in circles trying to clarify debunk things, la la la. Well, you get done with one, and there are 100 more or 1,000 more lies out there by the time you just try to explain one. Yeah, I guess we just are going to have faith in people in the end that we somehow will become media savvy enough with this new technology to learn to tell the difference and find ways to cut through the crap.
It's part of the challenge. We're entering a different age of communications, social media age. We've gone through, I tell, 175 years ago, or however long it was, 150 years ago, when Sir John A. Macdonald was going across the country, he was stumping. Like, he originally not even a train, a horse and buggy, went from town to town, got in a park on a stump or a gazebo, and that's how he built a political campaign and built a political machine. And then we had the radio age, and we had the TV age, and we had the 24-hour news cycle, which happened in your time, and then social media was just really getting a hold, a momentum just near the end of my time. And it's changed everything, because it's a whole new mode of communications, and it's a new challenge for a new generation to master that. And I agree. I think there's advantages, there's disadvantages. Look, I just think that somehow the next generation has to be able to combine mastery of the new modes of communication with the kind of mature lessons of political leadership. And I'd say one of those is, doesn't matter whether you're in government or opposition, you always need to be asking yourself, if it's a policy, or in the case of opposition, if it's a statement, not just is it popular today, but how's it going to look for you in a month or a year or in 5 years' time? You can't be drawn into the moment of the X tweet. You've got to think longer term, and there are times, and you got to pick your battles, right? Whether you're government or opposition, there are times like now where you have to decide, we're not going to fight about that, we'll fight about something. You always need to be fighting about something, because the public needs to be given choices. But on big things like Canadian sovereignty, you need to work together. And there's times where the opposition needs to support the government, and the opposition needs to know that if it does that, the government is not going to exploit that to disadvantage the opposition. So there are times where you've got to use better judgment.
No, I guess you voted for the Clarity Act, don't you?
I did. I not only did, I put the
you
first draft.
You talked to me about it.
I put the first draft of it in Parliament.
No, don't take too much credit. Show a bit of humility. But on that, he was in the opposition.
Yeah, I supported
him. And he supported me, and there was some problem with that, probably for him, not for me, eventually. But it is something that nobody remembers. Now nobody talks about it. If you read it, it's not only a vote. The question has to be approved by Parliament of Canada. And if you want to separate, there is a series of steps that you have followed that are very complicated. So don't think that because one night there will be a vote, there will be a vote to go. There's a lot of steps that have to be followed before this thing happened. And it is because we decided that at that time. Why? Because some people were claiming that with one vote we will lose Canada. Remember that? I remember, I said, that makes no sense. One of my friends in Shawinigan would forget his glasses home, and I would not be a Canadian the day after, because he would have voted. And those who were telling that one vote was enough, I used to make the joke that, the NDP, I don't want to talk politics, it's a reality. Their name is an illegal name. They call themselves the New Democratic Party since 70 years. So it's not new at all. So it's false advertising. And they wanted to change their name one day at their annual meeting, and they failed. You know why? Because they didn't have 2/3 of the vote. So they were willing to let go the country for one vote and not get another name than an illegal name. They needed 2/3 of the vote. Just, relax. Canada is there for a long time.
Excellent. Thank you.
The problem is these separatists, some of them, a lot of them now, are just saying they don't care about the rules. They're saying they're going no matter what. They just need that vote. And then they'll have Trump recognize them internationally as a nation state. And then the Clarity Act won't matter. Not to them. That's dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Somehow, we have to draw attention to that. They don't want to follow the rules.
So you're here today at Canada's Centre for Geography and Exploration, and soon the entire country will be witnessing an adventure of exploration at a level that no Canadian has ever previously achieved. The launch of Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen aboard Artemis II, a mission to orbit the moon. He will be the first non-American to reach the moon, and he will be one of 4 people to have been the furthest from Earth of any human being ever. And he's a Canadian. And so obviously this is on a scale, you talk about Bernier and Stephenson and some of the great explorers of Canada's history, but this is on a level that's completely beyond anything that they achieved. And in fact, it's more than a great achievement in Canadian history, but in world history. So Mr. Chrétien, you met John Glenn, and I just wonder if you have a message for Jeremy Hansen on the eve of this incredible moment.
But you're very impressed when you meet a person like that. But it was something that was a great moment. When I was a younger politician at that time, and I thought it was a great day. But it had been slow on that course, and now we're starting again to look at that to see if we cannot make more progress. Of course, science has made a lot of progress in the last 50 years and will make a lot more. But that will change a lot of our habits in life. We discussed some of the progress we made that sometimes causes problem. But to go to the moon is still very extraordinary. And to have a Canadian on the moon, it would be a great day for us.
Mr. Harper.
Yeah, I can only agree. I think we were all, I think of the moment, Chris Hadfield's, time on the space station, and I think one of the greatest music videos of all time is Chris Hadfield's.
You say that as a musician?
Yeah, it's from outer space. So, power to him, represent us. Just make sure that while you're up there, and I'm sure it's a joint mission that Trump hasn't taken the Canadian flag down and put up the U.S. flag. So make sure we got our flag there.
It's so far so good. looks great. So, Prime Ministers, you have developed a genuine friendship over the past decade. And I think I speak for many Canadians when I say that when you are on stage together, you give hope to the idea that we have a lot more in common than we disagree on. You show that there is a better way, and so thank you for your leadership of this great country, and thank you for your inspiring example today. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite you now to all join us for a reception upstairs in the main gallery, and I hope you will take along one of those RCGS True North Strong donation cards when you do. So thank you, gentlemen, very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
There you have it. What's going on over there in the chat? I don't know. Let's take a look. There are 2 generations now. I don't know what that. Let's see here. When it comes to communications, feelings are irrelevant. No IQ, in my opinion. Not sure what that means. Good trick. Be lovely. Are the separatists a large number if not that many, they can move to the U.S. They should just go to the U.S. anyway. Like, I don't know what's holding them back if that's what they want. Like all the 51st staters, like the border is that way. Like I'm not trying to kick anybody out. I'm just suggesting that if that's what you want, it's right there. And I think, just some people are moving to Texas, apparently. Anybody else with comments in there about what we just watched? Orphe, it's very concerning to see people let technology, internet, etc., literally take over their minds. Yes, I know. That's why I stand in front of the mirror every day and stare at myself, and I start to give myself a reality check. I'm constantly questioning, how much myself, assessing how much I'm being influenced by what I'm being exposed to online and mainstream media and everything else too. But yeah, very easy to get your mind kind of all twisted around. It's very consuming, isn't it? Strange and frightening times, but also very exciting. What a time to be alive. And after watching that, I have to say I'm somewhat more optimistic. I don't. The thing that worries me most is the separatists who have been stating very plainly of late that they don't intend to follow the rules or the law. They're not going to follow the law, our Constitution, and our laws as it relates to separatism. You have to follow these steps in order to actually separate. And out in Alberta, you have a lot of hurdles to jump if you really want to do it legally, peacefully. See, that's the thing. If you don't follow the rules, and you back that up, there's only really one way to back it up at the end of the day or the end of the referendum. And you know what that means. Yeah, maybe you're gonna start that fight, but who's gonna help you finish it? You and whose army? I think we know what the answer to that is. So we need to be very, very careful, and I think Canadians and Albertans need to be very careful about what it is they're actually supporting. Because I don't know about you, but I think that's completely unnecessary. There's no need for it to begin with, in my view. And certainly, it's not worth any of that. And that's I hope it doesn't come to that. We shall see. Gets us to the top of the hour. I think we're going to kind of wrap it up early tonight, Let's just take what we just heard, what we just observed, and reflect on that tonight. And then we'll come back and pick it all up again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, let's do that. What do you want me to close off with tonight? They were talking about, going to the moon. A Kanakistanian with some other astronauts, collaboration, partnership, NASA. That's the way to do her. We're going to be following that too. That I think it's February 8th. So we're only about 6 days away from the launch, weather permitting. Going to the moon for now. The moon this week, next week, I guess. Mars shortly thereafter. But I'm not moving there. It's too damn cold. Cold enough here as it is. So I'll leave you with MAGA Mars tonight and see you tomorrow on the flip side.
He's got a plan. It's bold and grand, taking over land, sea and sand. Canada's ours. Greenland's in the mix. The Panama Canal's just another fix. But Mars, oh Mars, you pesky red sphere, your spying drones are making it clear. It's a threat to Earth, a cosmic sin. But don't worry, folks, he'll make Mars great again. MAGA Mars, you're the 53rd state. Under Trump, your future is great. With Elon Musk and the Space Force too, we're slapping tariffs on your Martian crew. Make Mars great, yeah, make Mars ours. Wave that flag on the red rock stars. We'll impose sanctions, taxes, and fines. Martian exports know they're crossing the line. The Martians cry foul, but Trump doesn't care. He'll build a space wall floating up there. Elon's on board with rockets ablaze. The stock market's loving this Martian craze. He says, trust me, folks, I know the deal. Martian gold is ours, this plan is real. MAGA Mars, you're the 53rd state. Under Trump, your future is great. With Elon Musk and the Space Force too, we're slapping tariffs on your Martian crew. Make Mars great, yeah, make Mars ours. Wave that flag on the red rock stars. Yeah, Mars hotels with golf resorts, intergalactic trade reports, a MAGA dome where Martians bow. We've got the best Martians, Trump says now. Fake news claims the plan's absurd, but Trump tweets back, it's the final word. Martian drones not on my watch. Space Force ready to kick it up a notch. MAGA Mars, you're the 53rd state. Under Trump, your future is great. With Elon Musk and the Space Force too, we're slapping tariffs on your Martian crew. Make Mars great, yeah, make Mars ours. Wave that flag on the red rock stars. So buckle up for the Martian fight. Trump's taking over the Martian night. It's all for freedom, it's all for the win. Oh, say can you see, he'll make Mars great again. Make Mars great, yeah, make Mars ours. Wave that flag on the red rock stars. So buckle up for the Martian fight. Trump's taking over the Martian night. It's all for freedom, it's all for the win. Oh, say, can you see, he'll make Mars great again.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.